Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today I'm sharing an Allison Davis Scrapbook Generations design team layout, and I'm using one of the new double 8.5 by 11 layouts from the 2-page sketches, and this is sketch number 4. I'm gonna use an older collection from close to my heart. I believe it is called Pumpkin Spice. Um, I believe that's the name of the whole one. Crisp Air actually might be the name of the papers, but I know that I use pumpkin spice embellishments, which I'm going to show right here. These are like a wood grain type material. They do have a sticky back on them, and I'm going to use those on the layout to embellish. I have this sticker sheet here, which, like I said, this one here I believe is called Crisp Air. Since Close to My Heart is no longer in business, you really can't get this unless you find somebody selling their stash. This paper here, the cream one, is from an add-on paper, and that is also close to my heart. Everything I'm using is close to my heart today. And I only have one sheet of all of the papers except for the blue one. And I believe I only end up using one side of the blue one anyways. The other side is pumpkins, and I thought I was going to cut some of the pumpkins out. I end up not, just using the stickers instead. And then I have this wood grain one. Again, that's another add-on one. I only have one of it. And luckily, I'm able to make it work. And I will show how I was able to do that. I have this green cardstock that is double-sided. It's lighter and darker. I end up using the darker side. So I went ahead and cut everything. I can't show the sketch because it is paid content. But pretty much I followed along with the sketch almost to the T. Like I only changed up very slightly a little bit of the photos and the way that I cut the papers just because they were easier to put together for me. So I'm going to get started piecing it together. I'm just using the green mint colored cardstock as a background piece, basically to lay all my papers on and to make it a little bit more sturdy, because Close to My Heart papers are not that thick. So they were very easy to cut through and manipulate if I needed to, but definitely need to put them on something because they are not very thick. So here's the wood grain pieces. I ended up cutting these at 2.5 inches each. So, and then I'm gonna use one at the top, one at the bottom on each side, and then I cut off the extra. So I have that part set out, and that's the top and the bottom. And then there's this large square that goes right in the, not really in the middle, it goes a little bit more over to the left than it does the right. And then you have this beautiful flower paper that I picked, or leaves, I guess. It's not really flowers, it's leaves. And I'm going to use it on the left and the right. And since you only need, a smaller section on one side versus the other side, I was able to make it work since I only had one piece of paper. And also because it's 8.5 by 11 versus 12 by 12. If you were doing 12 by 12, you probably could still make it work. You would just have to know a little bit more about what size to cut it before you cut it so that you don't mess up. And then the bumpy border, I went ahead and cut that out with a punch that I have. And I'm going to line those up on the top and the bottom. Again, skipping the middle because that large blue square is going to go right in the middle. So it's going to cover up the rest of the mint green colored paper. Plus it's going to cover any of the like pieces that are sticking over. Just like that. Sorry, tripping over my words again. Doing the voiceover at night. I need to stop doing them at night and do them a little bit earlier in the day. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one here. Um, if anybody noticed, I did get a new trimmer. I bought the Tim Holtz trimmer. I was very fed up with the Friskers one not cutting straight. The only thing that I miss with the Friskers is I do miss that it has the wire line in the middle so that you can tell where you're cutting at. So it is a little bit of an adjustment to figure that out, but I'm doing it. And then this orange square here goes right in the middle, and I do slightly put it a little bit over more to the left than the right. It should have went right in the middle, and I thought I was lining it up perfectly, but it's really not. But I don't think anybody will really notice except for me. And of course, because I pointed it out, you will probably notice it now too. But it's okay. It looks great in the end. I love the way that this layout turned out. And I have 4 cute photos of my son at the pumpkin patch. This was like one of the very first times we ever went to a pumpkin patch, and it wasn't even like a real pumpkin patch. It was at a church, and it was just in their parking lot, and they had pumpkins, and they had little scarecrows and little like hay bales set up so you could take pictures, and that's where we took pictures at that time. So I used the cream colored paper to mat the larger photo twice. I matted it in green, and then I matted it in um, the cream color. And then the other photos I'm going to matte in green. And I was going to put the cream at the end on the leaf paper, but not over the blue paper. And then I decided not to. That's what I was doing there. I'm kind of trying to figure out if I have pieces left that will fit. And I do have pieces left that fit, but I just decided I really like the way the leaf paper looks, and I didn't want to cover any more of the leaf paper up. So that's the reason why I didn't add it. It is in the sketch, um, but that's one that I chose not to add. But I also matted my photos already in green, just a small, like, I don't know, probably 1/4, not even 1/4 of an inch, less than that, probably 1/8 of an inch around the photo mat. And it's okay. I like the way that it looks, and I like the little added green pop. And I think with the green border at the top and the bottom, it really adds just a little bit of something there. So I'm not going to cut the photo. The photo is all the way over on the left, as you can see, the larger photo. And then there's 2 on the right. I did want a little bit of the white paper to show, though, so that it does look like it has white mat all the way around it. And here, I just kind of, I went ahead and played with the embellishment clusters offline and then came back on. And I did add my little title up there at the top. I'm just going to title it Pumpkin Patch. And again, I will add in the journaling down at the bottom by the larger cluster. And when I add that in, I'll explain what pumpkin patch it actually was. But again, I just think they're cute little photos. And he had to pick out his 2 pumpkins. And he's always been one that picks the little pumpkin, not the big pumpkin. And he picked out even a littler pumpkin. Here you can see in his hands, he's holding 2 pumpkins. One is a little bit smaller than the other one, and he told me it was for Gabe, which is my nephew. And my nephew was just a baby. He was probably 4 or 5 months old. Um, but he insisted that we had to take him a pumpkin home too. So he picked one that was a little bit smaller since Gabe is smaller than him. And again, he's 2 here, so he picked out one for himself. And I have pictures that I'm actually going to scrapbook with the same collection that are of Gabe holding his little pumpkin that Jeremiah gave him. So I think that's so cute. I do have other photos of them together, but they're already scrapbooked. So those ones will not get scrapbooked now, but these ones here will get scrapbooked. And I actually need to get the doubles of the one of them together so that I can put them in Gabe's album, because the ones that I have scrapbooked already are in Jeremiah's album. But that's okay. I might have to make copies of those and get them printed so that I can scrapbook them. And I might do it with this collection if I have enough left, like just a little bit of probably the scraps, because I don't have very many of the papers left. I used a lot of big chunks of them on this layout, and I think I have a few. I might have 1 or 2 more of them. But anyways, I'm finished with the layout, holding it up so you get a closer look. Again, make sure you check out Allison Davis's sketches in the Scrapbook Generation website. she does have a Black Friday sale going on. And I should see you in the next video tomorrow for the scrap room. Thanks for coming by. Bye.